I personally believe that the future of leadership is not about leaders or people at the top or top managers. It's much more about leadership as a social phenomenon, as a phenomenon that's inherent to every organization. It's easy to kill leadership as a social process, and it's not at all about leaders or individual people. So I think to curate leadership for the future, we need to be much more sensitive to social phenomena and interaction in organizations. That, I think, is a big challenge for companies today. In organizations, we know a lot about org charts and who should be in charge, and bosses and layers of hierarchy. Most of us have learned a lot about that, or studied that. The secret of organizations is that there is, on the backstage of every organization, there's something called a value creation structure, where the actual performance is happening, where the actual work is happening. And in this value creation structure defies formal org charts and command and control structures as we have them in our heads. So a big challenge of organizations for the future of work, I believe, is in liberating or unearthing this value creation structure, in which value is created from the inside out, and in which we also accept that today in this economy it's actually markets that steer organizations. We don't need managers steering organizations. We need to accept that markets we have outsourced the steering to markets a long time ago. We should actually accept that reality. One of the big challenges for most organizations is not to create more and more, and not to implement more and more tools, also software tools, but to practice something like organizational hygiene. So to get rid of practices that don't work, like performance appraisal, budgeting, target negotiations, rules and policies. Many organizations have practiced or have implemented lots and lots of tools over the last couple of decades, but they have been weak in eliminating practices, and that's, I think, a big challenge, to remove the barriers to performance. For me today, in the discussions, in the sessions or presentations and discussions that we had, for me one of the main topics was that often we don't use vocabulary and semantics in the same way within a group, so it's hard to agree on the vocabulary that we want to use. Are we talking about targets, or about values, about culture or purpose? We had a lot of discussion around these kind of framings and concepts. So I think that's one of the biggest challenge. For me, the most exciting topic of the day today was that ultimately we also have a knowledge and mastery problem in organizations, and the topic of learning and how to improve organizational learning, or learning within organizations. That was implicitly a big topic for me today. Well, I always hoped that SAP would start to invest and to act more in this sphere of dedicating itself to the future of work. I think that SAP, as a provider of software solutions, has an enormous power in helping us think more properly about organizations. But the tool alone, of course, it's neutral in a certain way. So there's a big opportunity for SAP, I think, in shaping our minds around how organizations work and how performance should be created in organizations.